Hello everyone, my name is Veritas, and welcome back to Destiny. So, this has been essentially discussed to death on the internet over the last few days, last week or so, and the big topic on everyone's mind right now inside the Destiny community is Festival of the Lost. Essentially, why Festival of the Lost is the way it is, how could it be better? Why is it currently, not really fun? Things like that, what's wrong with Festival? And why has Bungie betrayed us with Festival and how it is this year? So I wanted to give my thoughts on the problem, give my thoughts on the event, and talk about my feelings of the Festival of the Lost, microtransactions, and the current state of the Destiny community in terms of what we should be expecting from things like the Festival event itself. So, first things first, do I like that everything is behind a microtransaction? Absolutely not. So let's talk about how the festival is built and how it could be different. First, let's turn the volume down because it's a tad loud. Now I can think. But essentially what happened was, you do the Festival of the Lost quest line. You go to Ava Levante, you talk to her, she's like, hey, here's a bag of candy, you wander around the tower, get some candy, yada yada. You can talk to Eris's, do the Eris chain line with the, or quest line with the raisins, and you can get Super Black. So let's talk about Super Black first, and, we'll start from the beginning of, how you would explore Festival. So first things first, if you played Festival of the Lost last year, you acquired a box of raisins per character, and those raisins were essentially useless, so the player base said, let's keep these because something has to happen with them, right? Yeah, it has to, and it did. Bungie gave purpose to the raisins. This year, if you had a box of raisins, you could turn them in, give them to Zavala, give them to a handful of other people around the tower, and then eventually give them back to Eris, and that turned into a piece of celery, which we can safely assume will be the item next year we have to take around and trade out, and as well as the Super Black shader. Now, Super Black was data mined inside of the game back in vanilla. It was one of the first shaders everyone was looking for, but there was no way to acquire it. It became something everyone was looking for. Vanilla players and Year 1 players specifically were very much wanting that to be a shader, and when it was discovered that it was unavailable in game, people got very sad. Now, come year 3, and, come Festival of the Lost, and you have your raisins from last year, you held on to them, you allowed them to take up part of your very limited vault and inventory space, and what does Bungie do with the raisins? Instead of allowing those to be something special for, hey, you kept these, good job, and thinking that they would do something, here is a shader that you, as a Year 1 player, are going to have the capacity to find value in. Here's that thing, good job, it was a secret all along. Instead of doing that, Bungie decided to make it so you could get raisins this year, ascend them with the speaker, and basically invalidated holding onto those for an entire year when you can just play Festival right now, walk up to Eris, get your raisins, spend 25 motes at the speaker, and boom, you have Super Black. That pisses me off. Not necessarily in a, this is my toy, you can't play with it kind of sense, but in more of a, what was the reason to hold on to it? What was even the point of doing that? I really think that Destiny needs a lot more things that remain exclusive to people that happen to do the right steps along the way. There's not enough stuff that is rewarding for people that play for a while. The old guard shader, emblem, sparrow, that kind of stuff is down the right vein. You can't get that anymore. It doesn't exist. It does, but you can't have it. You had to do the proper stuff. You had to do the requirements leading up to it, and that they even told you about. But with the raisins and Super Black, I feel like it should have been something that would have been exclusive to people that played Festival last year. And does that suck if you didn't play Destiny back then? Yeah, it does. But it's an ever-growing world, like World of Warcraft or something. It's going to continually grow. If you didn't play Destiny last year because you didn't think it was a good game, or you wanted to wait and see, and you waited 2 years to wait and see, if or you couldn't buy it for some reason for 2 years, then you just have to kind of come to terms with the fact that there's going to be stuff in this ever-living world, this ever-progressing world, that you won't have. I mean, I have a handful of weapons, armors, things that you can't get anymore in the game, you know, from year 1, year 2, stuff that just doesn't drop, stuff you can't acquire, and you know, I don't see people complaining about that stuff on a daily basis, so I really think that the whole Super Black situation would have been like, you know, everyone would have been pissed for like a couple days, and then they would have shut up about it. Because I don't see anyone still complaining about not being able to get SRL shaders, not, you know, being able to get the, you know, the Crimson Double shaders, not being able to get, you know, the Old Guard shaders. It's like, oh man, I wish I had played when that was available, or I wish I had done the thing for that. And it's like, yeah, it sucks, but down the line there's going to be other stuff that you'll have because you played now into the future that people that are in your shoes in the future won't have, and it's just an ever-progressive thing. If you played since day 1, you continue to play, you're going to have all of it. But it's kind of like, it's almost like a reward for being, like, a loyalty thing. And I wouldn't necessarily use loyalty as the word, but it's more of a, like, thanks for believing in us, thanks for still playing, here's your reward for holding on to this thing. And yeah, it sucks if you didn't play last year and you couldn't have gotten it, but you can get it. So I think for next year, when the celery becomes a thing, I really hope it doesn't become something that you can pick up that day and get it. I think it should be exclusive, and to people that are playing then, oh well, you'll get something in the future that's special. So that's for Super Black, mainly just Super Black. Moving on from that, Festival of the Lost as an entire thing, you know, as the, you know, the quest lines and the availability of the Treasures of the Lost, is that stuff good? No, absolutely not. I think at minimum it should have reset at weekly reset, that allowing you to get, if you had 3 characters, allowing you to get up to 6 Festival of the Lost treasures. Would that have been enough? Still, probably not, actually. It still probably wouldn't have been enough in the grand scheme of things, because with how the drop rates are, 6 treasures is not going to net you, probably not going to net you what you want. If you look at how Destiny is built currently, you have to go through so many chances to get something that you could possibly want. You know, say running currently the hard mode raid. If you could run 6 hard mode clears, and that's it, do you think you would get the Nano Phoenix hard mode ship? Probably not. If you ran 6 hard mode VOG checkpoints at Templar, and you did 6 runs, and that's all you had for the year, do you think you'd get Fatebringer? Absolutely not. Would people get it? Probably, yeah. I mean, that's just probability. That's, you know, that's numbers. But would most people get it? Absolutely not. So are 6 chances at something over the course of a year enough? Absolutely not. So how do you fix that? How do you make it something that revitalizes the game world, makes the Festival of Lost feel like an event you're actually playing, and not just, you know, not just like a throwaway, like, you know, here's a couple boxes, you're not going to get anything you want. If you really want to play the event, gamble at Eververse. So essentially how I see Eververse right now, or how I see the event currently being, is on the first day, I did all the quest lines on all my characters. I got 3 boxes of treasure. I opened them. I got 3 legendary masks. You know, to me they were garbage. I didn't really want them. You know, I got like a purple engram and like the Prince mask or something, and maybe a Xur mask or whatever. I got 3 masks, and that's it. I didn't get, you know, the weapon ornaments. I didn't get the Sparrow. I didn't get any of the other masks. I didn't get the Wolf mask. I didn't get the Ghost shells. I didn't get anything. You know, I didn't get any of the stuff that people were looking for, that people were hunting for, people were hoping for, like the good stuff. You know what I mean? And with how many items are in the treasure boxes to begin with, I feel like they needed to have more chances, or there needed to be multiple kinds of treasure boxes. Like, if you wanted specifically, you know, you could put, like, the Sparrow in with, like, a 5 or 6 masks and have that be one of the boxes. You know, have, like, 3 boxes, you know, split the contents of the boxes across 3 of them, so you have, you know, you can buy the one you want the good thing in with a better chance of getting that good thing, and that way you can control how you're paying for stuff. With the way it is currently, you've got, like, 50 items in a box, and you're hoping for 1 or 2 of them. It's kind of annoying. Now, how exactly could you make Festival overall better? Taking a note from a Twitch streamer and YouTuber, Destiny Twitch streamer and YouTuber King Gathalion, he made mention of a system where you could basically wear a mask, accrue candy, use that candy to trade into Ava Levante, treat Ava Levante like a Festival of Lost quartermaster. You give candy to her for faction reputation, festival faction reputation, and on those level ups, you would get treasure boxes. Now, how much of that candy would be needed to level up, I don't know. If it behaved like Year 1 Queen's Wrath, where it was nearly impossible to level up to level 3 in the course of 2 weeks, I think it would be kind of silly. But I do like the idea of being able to work for festival treasures. I was discussing this with Kat last night, and I personally believe that on every quest step of Festival currently, there should have been a treasure box. There should have been a Festival of the Lost Treasure. That being said, I think that might have been too many. But that would be kind of like giving away treasure boxes as opposed to players earning them. So I do kind of agree with the idea of wearing your mask, getting candy, trading it in for a box. Maybe 5 bags of candy or 10 bags of candy. 5 or 10 gifts of the lost would turn into a treasure box if you continue to trade up and kept giving your candy to Ava. I do like that idea. I like the idea of putting the player out in the world and shooting stuff. I don't like the fact that currently Festival is essentially 1 or 2 quests. You get like an emblem or a shader relatively easily, and then if you want anything else, you have to essentially buy it. I don't want to spend a Destiny live event standing in front of a real-world currency merchant and holding down A and then holding down X and hoping I get something good out of a box. That's not Destiny. That's not fun. That's not a game. That's just boring. That's, it takes all of the focus away from this and puts it into your menu where you're spending money to get something in the game that you can see later. You're not playing Destiny at that point. You're just buying stuff. You know what I mean? You're not having fun. You're not playing the game. You're just sitting there buying treasure boxes, and that's not what Destiny is. Destiny is going out, shooting aliens, and having a good time. And it frustrates me to no end that this is how the event panned out, that this is what we get for Festival. Last year, I can see how it could have been a little dry because it was the first time they did it, and it honestly felt like it was kind of shoehorned in. But at least it gave us something to do. However, this year, they went into it having the structure already. They went into it knowing what Festival was. They had the candy. They had the mask ideas. And all they really did was say, well, we fought Siva this year. Prince Uldren made an O-face, and a couple other things happened. So let's just make those into masks. And, we have some wolves. Let's make some wolf masks. We can reskin a sparrow. And now we have ghost shells in the game, so let's put some ghost shells in. And, weapon ornaments, and then we're done. They essentially did what they did last year, where they just kind of updated it with what had happened in Destiny since last year. We now have weapon ornaments, we now have ghost shells, we now have these things we didn't necessarily have last year, so we can add more things into the boxes. Those boxes should have 100% been farmable, been grindable, go out and play. And if you don't have time to basically farm the hell out of a faction for the week, then you can go ahead and buy it. If you have something to do, if you have a job, if you don't want to spend all your time farming, like say Iron Banner. Imagine if Iron Banner came around and you didn't get rep from playing the game. You got to like rank 1 from playing and then it stopped, and to get to rank 5 you had to pay silver to get there. That would not go over well. Can you imagine Iron Banner if you had to pay to be able to go to the next level or something? It cost 200 silver to go to rank 1, and then you unlocked the next tier where you could go to rank 2 for 400 silver, and etc. And continuing on that path. Can you imagine if you had to purchase like a treasure of the Iron Lords to get the armor and the weapons and all the rank up stuff? Can you imagine the reaction to that? That's essentially what Festival is this year. You're essentially buying your way through the event, and you're not actually playing the game at all. And that frustrates me to no end, because I love Destiny. I love the events. I love that, you load into Destiny near Halloween time and you have something like Festival going on where it's like, it's ooky spooky and it's fun and all that neat stuff's happening. But what pisses me off to no end is that you're not actually even playing Destiny during this event. You're sitting in front of Eververse in a social space, holding down the A button, pouring, tens of dollars into Eververse, and then opening boxes and hope that you get something that you should be able to earn through gameplay. You know, I'm out here doing bounties, farming stuff, wearing a mask, looking like a dope motherfucker. I'm howling, turning my mask blue. I've got this awesome sparrow. I've got this really cool ghost shell on a different character. I think I have the ghost on my other character. But I should be incentivized to wear a mask. I should be incentivized to use the festival items, and I should be incentivized to get candy, you know, and using that candy to trade in for treasures at variously high amounts. That's fine. You know, that gives us something to do. Right now, there's nothing to do. There's nothing to do. Like that, I can't stop saying that. There's not enough times I can say there's nothing to do during this event. Let's look at Crimson Doubles for a second here. Let's look at Crimson Doubles, and I'm going to leave you guys with this thought of Crimson Doubles. And I'm going to sit so we can all focus on this very heavily. Crimson Doubles came out. The event was kind of meh. It wasn't very good. There were two shaders, 2 ghost shells, and an emblem. Right? 2 shaders, 2 ghost shells, and an emblem. I think that was all there was. You know how you got those shaders, emblem, and ghost shells? By playing the fucking event. You went into Crucible with your friend, or whoever. You went into Crucible, you played the event, and you got your emblem, you got your shaders, you got your ghost shells if you played enough. Were there microtransactions for Crimson Doubles? No. There weren't any. There were no treasures of the heart or whatever that you could, you know, purchase and then open for the stuff, because there were only 5 things. A, it would take you 3 boxes to get all of it, and 2, it wouldn't matter because you played the event and you got it. If you wanted to farm for 6 hours looking for a ghost shell, you could do that by playing the event. How do you get the Sparrow, the Ghost Shells, the Hoodooom, and Dragon's Bane ornaments? How do you get the Legendary Mask? How do you get the Wolf Mask? How do you get that stuff? The consumables, the Chromatic Jack-o'-Lite, the Eyeball. How do you get that stuff? How do you get it? You buy it. You don't play Destiny. You sit in the tower and you buy boxes and you pray that something comes out of it that you kind of want. How is that playing Destiny? I can go to the store and do that. I can go down the candy aisle, buy a bag of Reese's Pieces, and I can go home knowing that I have the thing I want, and I didn't have to do shit for it. I literally paid to get the thing I wanted. Now, that's not fun to me. If I'm gonna boot up Destiny, go out, grab my sidearm from the raid, and shoot a Vex in the stomach, I want, when the event is active, and I'm wearing the fucking helmet from the event, I want the candy to go in my pocket, I want to go back, go to Grandma Ava Levante, and be like, hey, I have candy for you, here. And it gives me, like, someone, like King Gathalion would say, like, faction reputation. Or you trade in a shit ton of candy, and eventually that turns into a treasure box. I want to play Destiny to get the items from the event. I don't want to sit there and buy boxes for an hour, spending 30, 40, 50, however many dollars on the chance that you could get something cool. That irritates me. And I don't like getting angry with Destiny, because I love this game. And I hate to see this happen with the event, because all this does is further negatively impact the view of this game. And I wouldn't get heated about it if it wasn't something I was passionate about. That's how you know I'm not just making this video for lulzy's sake, because I'm passionate about this. I want this event to be fun. I want future events to be fun. I will be damned if when SRL comes around in December or whenever it happens to go live, I'll be damned if when SRL comes around you can't earn any, like, you can't earn the shaders, you can't earn, say, emblems, there's no quest lines, it's all in, like, a Sparrow treasure, and you open that. They're not gonna do that. They didn't do it with SRL last year. You played SRL, you got emblems and shaders, and you could get them from playing the thing. So why, in any capacity of thought, was it okay to put every reward in Festival of the Lost in a fucking box in Eververse and have you be able to get... How many things can you get outside of the boxes from Eververse? Let's think about that real quick. You can get Candlelight, Super Black, you can get the Green and Cyan, the Sea of Tears, so you can get all the shaders outside of it. You can get the Frames whatever, which is the broom emblem. You could play Trials and get 5 wins and get the Night Terror emblem. So you can get the emblems and the shaders from that, and you can also buy masks from last year. So you can get like 4 or 5 masks, 4 shaders, and 2 emblems. That's honestly a lot. But, by comparison, there's... what is that? A 4-row, 5-row? There's like, I don't know, 25, 30 things stuffed inside a treasure box. You can't tell me you couldn't have been giving us a way to farm for treasure boxes. Doing stuff with masks on, giving the candy to Ava, eventually trading that stuff in after, you know, say after every 10 bags of candy, she gives you a treasure box. Why is that so complicated? I mean, hell, even make Festival of Lost reset on Tuesday. You know, make it so we could have gotten an extra chance this week, you know, done the quest lines again, gone back into the Crucible with an engram on, gone back out into the world with a speaker, a traveler mask on. Revitalize the fucking game. I mean, I saw more people running around in the Crucible with a helmet, with a, you know, mask on, or just playing Crucible and having a good time last Tuesday than I had in forever. You know, I saw more people in Court of Oryx than I had in a long time. More people in Heroic Strikes than I had in a long time. You know, these events are ways for you to revitalize content, Bungie. They're ways for you to make the game fun again with a little bit different spin. Running around with a mask on is not something I would see myself doing on a normal occasion, but with the event active, it's something that I can do and have fun with, and I can accrue candy, and I can take that candy back, and I could get something like reputation, or say every 10 bags of gifts I get a treasure as thanks for finding candy. There needs to be a way in the game, out in the activities, out in the game. I'm not saying just because I'm standing in the tower I'm playing Destiny. I'm saying I want to be out doing things. I want to be incentivized to go and do Heroic Strikes with a helmet on or a mask on. I want to be incentivized to go and play patrols with a mask on. Not just one time. Not just one time. I want it to be a thing that persists through the entirety of the event. If I just want to get a couple boxes on the first week and I get bored of it, that's my problem. If I just want to sit in Eververse and buy treasure boxes instead of spending my time out in the world and getting it a slower, more grindy way, that's my prerogative. That's my choice as a player to spend money at that point. Currently, I have to spend money. And that's bullshit. That's frustrating, and it's not Destiny. And it shouldn't be Destiny. So, I have hopes for future events that it won't be like this. I pray it won't be like this. And if it is like this, all I can do is shrug and say, that's a slippery fucking slope. I apologize for how heated and seemingly angry I am. I'm not angry, I'm disappointed, which some people would say is worse. But that's all I really have to say about it. There needs to be a way out in the game world. Trade in candy to Ava for, like King Gathalion would say, a reputation. Give her reputation for the week. Or say every 10 bags of candy or every 15 bags of candy you give her, you get a treasure box. You know, like a back end kind of thing. Make it so people are playing the event, because honestly, after like the third day of Festival of the Lost, when everyone that wanted to play the event played the event and got their candy, got their shaders, got their emblems, and got all the masks they wanted, no one was wearing masks anymore. There was no reason to. So just make it so that we want to play. Like, that's all I can really say. Make it something that's make it something that's fun. Make it something that we, as the player, feel incentivized to participate in. Don't make it this essentially just, well, the only way to get the stuff is to keep buying it, I guess. Because that's not fun. It's never been fun. The idea of that has never been fun. And I honestly think pretty much everyone's on the page this year that this was an awful event. And I love Destiny events. Like, I think they're really fun. But this one was really just, how much stuff can you buy and pray that you get it? It was essentially balancing between spending a ton of money and getting the stuff that you wanted. And I'll be honest, I spent a good amount of money on the treasure boxes, and I'm part of the problem at that point. Because even though I'll sit here and complain, I'll spend $30 on silver to be able to get all the stuff I wanted. Did I even get everything? No. I still don't have either of the ornaments or the deviled ghost, but I got what I wanted. I wanted the sparrow. And to get the sparrow, you had to spend money. And that to me is annoying. But that's how it goes. So I guess that's all I really have to say. That's it. I'm frustrated with it, and that's where we're gonna end it. And I hope that future events are better, and I hope that they start making stuff exclusive. Because, like I said, Super Black should have been for people that played last year, and then the salary can be for next year. And it's a living game. It's a ever-growing game. That kind of stuff's going to happen. So those are my thoughts. Sorry for getting heated. Just really passionate about this subject. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a comment below with what your thoughts are for Festival of Lost. And I will talk to you guys later inside Destiny. So thank you guys so much for watching. And until the next video, have a great day, everyone.